Hello everyone, welcome to another video for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. This is episode 12, and it is entitled Hellbound. And I gotta tell you, this is one long mission. This might be the longest in the game. I'm not sure, there might be a longer one. But this is the second one, like the other previous one that we did, where the other one was like 15 minutes long, I believe. This one is a lot longer than that for me. This is like an 18-minute run here. And unlike the other one, I'm not a big fan of that one. But for some reason, this one, even though it's super long, I'm actually kind of a fan of it. Except when towards the end it gets a little bit ridiculous. But for the most part of this game, it's a lot of sneaking around, and I'm actually doing this in the day, which is actually more awesome. But this is the type of mission that, you know, I hate that it's so long, but I did enjoy doing it. And I actually did this mission quite a few times to actually get this run as perfect as I could. I mean, this is an S rank run, but unfortunately it's not no traces. I do believe, I could be wrong, you might not be able to get no traces on this. I don't know, because the end is kind of strange. But for the most part, for this mission, I am no traces throughout this whole mission, pretty much. So I still think it's a pretty awesome run, even though I don't get the no traces. I think it might have something to do with the ending with Philanthropist. But I still think this is an awesome run that I made here. I think it can be done a lot faster. In the nighttime, I know you can pretty much run through this area, but in the day, these guys will spot you very easily. But I mean, that one guy there, was like, "What's up?" I mean, he noticed something was up there on the ground. What you do is you just break his line of sight going behind different obstacles, and I just lost him there. And you just keep on moving forward. This area is pretty cool. I like sneaking through this area. The Desert Fox camo, again, I've used in pretty much all these videos. This camo is like the go-to camo for Afghanistan. It really is, for me anyway. You can pretty much very easily just crawl through this base and not get spotted with this camo. I brought Dee Dee along just so I knew where these guys were. I hate going through a base, not really knowing where the enemies are, and then going out in the line of an enemy. Like, they're like right around the corner and you have no idea that they were there. I always hate that. So because I brought him, there's no surprises. Keep in mind here that I just jumped over there. There was a couple runs that I did, I believe later on after this, that where the enemies will get kind of smart and they will start laying down mines in this area. So right over the fence, so right where I jumped over, they will lay mines down there. And at one point I almost jumped into a mine there, and along this path as well. So keep that in mind as well. I mean, the enemies in this game are insane at certain times, where they will scale to what you're doing. So if you're sneaking around, being stealthy, they will start wearing goggles and stuff to see you, and they will start laying down mines in certain paths that you've went. Of course, if you start running around and shooting them a lot and shooting them in the head or tranking them, they'll start wearing helmets or body armor. So they make it vastly more difficult, which is awesome. I mean, I love that dynamic there. There's two guys there on the right walking away. They make it really ridiculous because this area takes forever to walk because you have to keep away from those two dudes there. And because I was trying to go for no traces as much as possible, I'm going to have to sneak by them, and it takes a while. So I'm going to actually jump cut here towards the end of this base to get to this base. So it's like at the beginning of the base, So on the road there, you basically just want to get past those two guys, keeping on the left, and then there'll be some other sneaking areas. They're actually very simple to get by, really, not difficult at all. Just keeping to the ground, keeping low. This whole area becomes vastly easy. As long as you bring DD, you'll know where a lot of the enemies are. I'm crawling up to this base. I probably could have duck walked in here, but I'm being overly cautious. Because I'm not really sure if there's any snipers around. I don't believe there are. The whole Afghanistan area, I think, is a pretty cool area. It's very desolate, though. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Later on in the game, you'll get a little bit, different area when you go to Africa, actually. So the whole Afghanistan area, I like the Afghanistan area. But I mean, it's like Afghanistan. I mean, it's very desolate. It's not very much. It's kind of empty. But I still like it. I think it's a cool area. The terrain and everything is gorgeous, I believe. But this whole area is kind of tricky. Going down into this base. This is one of the bigger bases, too. Especially in Afghanistan. And I loved infiltrating this base. Stealthily like this. So much fun. And they don't see me. There's dudes all around me. And they do not spot me. There's a couple walkers there. You're going to start to get into the part of the game where you're going to start getting some tougher enemies. You got some guys walking on the walker gears, and you're going to get that from time to time. I'm going to crawl under this pipe. I think this was made to crawl under. I mean, they made this whole area so you can crawl through it. And I was never spotted doing this. It was quite thrilling, actually, to go through here, sneak around, not get spotted. Those walkers will actually come around here. They will come around onto this road. One will. I believe, well, this run here, I actually took my time. I did some other runs that where I actually just walked right out in there. And it was a lot quicker. This one's a little slower of a run, because I actually am a little more cautious. I actually could have just walked right out into the road and then just laid down and then crawled to where I was going next. But here I just waited, because I didn't want no surprises. I have no idea where DD went. I'm looking around for DD. I'm like, where did he go? He just took off. I mean, he's nowhere on the map. I'm like, well, I guess he'll come up whenever he wants. There's a guy walking on the bridge there. This guy on the walker will turn back. And I'm just going to get out of here. Keeping low here. Keep in mind, I mean, these enemies will spot you if you duck walk through here. I don't want to get spotted. I don't want nobody trying to, whatever that is, where they think they see something and they're going to go take a look. I don't want them doing that, because they're going to come over here, and it's pretty much an open area. There's really nowhere to hide. I believe there's a guy up there, up top. At nighttime, I don't believe he's there. So what I'm going to do... Oh, okay. I don't think there is a guy there. Maybe that's at nighttime. At nighttime, there is a guy up there. But in the daytime, he's not here. So you can just walk right on in here. Makes it a little simpler, actually. And what you want to do then is keep low here. Remember, I mean, there might be some guys walking around here. I'm trying to be overly cautious again. I probably could have ducked walk out here. But there is a guy up on the road. These guys in this area, they can spot you, it seems like, from a mile away. especially in the daytime. I mean, this is the day. They can certainly have a far viewing distance in the daytime. And this camo helps. I mean, they have a hard time seeing me, this Desert Fox camo, on this terrain here. And because I brought DD, I know that there's not really any enemies around that I'm missing. So I can safely crawl through this area and get to the other side over here where I'm trying to go. I tried actually different strategies. I tried at nighttime a few times, which was cool too. You can wear like the sneaking suit and stay in the shadows. In a lot of those areas, you can actually go in behind that building over there where you got to go and come around. So, but this run here that I did in the daytime was actually one of the better ones that I done. Because at this point here, I'm still no traces. They have no idea that I'm here. I'm making fairly good time. So, keeping low, crawling through this area. You're going to come up on the building where you got to go in. And there will be these two soldiers blocking the door, which can be kind of tricky. You can actually just crawl right by them. But for me, how fortunate, there is a sandstorm blowing in. And I was like, wow, that... okay, that's some very good timing. So that I can basically not have a problem getting past these two guys here. But they are looking at each other. I wasn't sure if they could actually see me if I snuck past them, even in a sandstorm. So I wait until they turn, then I make my move. Keep in mind, there is like a gasoline bottle right there by the door. If you bump that, they will hear you, because I've done that. I almost touch it there. It's kind of awkward to get past. I think it's a little easier from the right. I was coming from the left there. It's a little more trickier, but if you bump that, they will hear you and your run's done. I actually did that. I made it to this point, bumped the can, he turned around, he spotted me, and the run was screwed at that point. So now I'll just pick up Emmerich and book it out of here. This is where it becomes a little more trickier, I think, because you're duck walking. You're not crawling, and you're carrying this dude on your back, and you're duck walking. It becomes so much more trickier to get past this whole area. I think it becomes more difficult at this point. And I'm trying to figure out a way here to get past these guys without getting spotted. I was hoping I could go this way. That's a no-go. I'm looking on the map where I got to go here. I'm calling in the helicopter to pick up. It might actually be better if you call the helicopter a little later, maybe. Because the helicopter is like waiting at the pickup zone for quite a while. But I'm going to... There's a guy here on the left. And that guy seems like he can see everything. And at this point here, I'm starting to get guys noticing something's up. Like, what is this? And that guy's quite a far distance away, and he can still see me. I'm just going to keep on moving. Because they haven't spotted me. They notice something's up, but they're not sure what it is. And then they end up just like, well, whatever. Who cares? They don't care to investigate. So I'm going to end up kind of jogging through this area here. This is a pretty good path to take. At one point, I actually went to the left side around this building, and I ended up getting spotted at one point. So, because there's some enemies on the road. But this path here seemed to be a little better. As long as you duck walk through here, I don't think you'll get spotted. This is where it becomes a little trickier as well, because I wasn't sure how to get to the helicopter without getting spotted. So I'm going to make my way up here onto the road, and then I'm going to make my way down on the other side. Because there is some enemies here in those little areas there. Those little buildings or whatever. But at this point, they've spotted the helicopter. This is why I think it might be a good idea to actually call the helicopter a little later, because maybe they won't spot him as soon, or, you know. So, but they spot the helicopter. I don't know if this is where the no traces goes south for me, because I don't think they've spotted me. Otherwise, they'd be shooting me. But I'm going to try to put him in the helicopter. That doesn't work. Okay, now we got Philanthropist. Just go right through his legs. You see that? He was kind of intimidating for me when I first played this. He's an awesome looking Metal Gear. I think he's one of the cooler ones. So I just ran right through his legs there. I don't know if this voids the no traces, like if Philanthropist sees you, but I don't know how that's even possible not to get spotted by him, because he's got some great vision. So up to the point where Philanthropist was or is, I was no traces. So I still think that's pretty good, because Philanthropist is quite OP, really, for vision. Keep in mind that when his light on his head, if it's red, he knows where you're at. If it's yellow, he's searching, and if it's blue, he doesn't know where you're at. I'm just going to wait by the pickup zone here and try to lose him. He's gonna try to search around. Sometimes this can be a pain because it seems like he knows where you're at all times. But at this point, I think it goes yellow there, so he's going to search. So I'm going to make my way to the extraction point. Try to bring the helicopter down. Helicopter's coming down. It takes it a minute. It takes a while. I'm like, come on, hurry up. So those little robots he shoots out, those things will spot you too. They'll spot you through anything. Put him on the helicopter and you're good. Then all you got to do now is just shoot him. This becomes fairly easy scripted point in the game. This is pretty cool though. Pretty cool animation. Especially when he jumps towards you. Shoot these little pods that he throws out, otherwise they'll wreck into the helicopter. But he's going to jump here. I think this is all scripted, because I've seen it at one point where a guy, he overheated his gun. He didn't shoot, but Philanthropist still blew up like that right there. But he wasn't shooting him. So I think it might be kind of scripted there for him to blow up. So, but I think this is pretty cool when he lands and all the dust and everything. Awesome. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me for this. This is a cool S rank, long mission. But if you guys could give a like, I would appreciate it. And that will do it for me for this video, guys. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.